Okay, things slowly but surely returned back to normal in the Australian music industry and visiting local and visiting concerts. So, my first one for 2023 was a group I never heard of before, and the very first time I've seen them, the Fabulous Caprettos. So, yeah, they're made up of the artists there, as you can see Daryl Braithwaite, Russell Morris, Jack Jones, and I'm not going to be able to say that surname, Rye. Maybe I'll attempt Thistleweight. Okay, next up was Sting. I did touch on this in a previous video that, I don't know, had a mental lapse, not quite a breakdown, but it's a concert that I chose not to see through to its entirety. So after the first 3 or 4 songs, I left the venue. There's really no good reason or bad reason for me to do that. I just wasn't feeling it that night and I didn't feel like watching the whole show. Just so bizarre. I paid for the ticket and it was wasted. So, Sting, if you ever come back to Melbourne, I'll make it up to you. I'll make it up to myself as well. So, Harry returned to Melbourne stages triumphantly in 2023. I only saw one of his shows there, so it was either the 24th or the 25th. And Backstreet Boys also were able to fulfill their Melbourne gig finally after a 3-year wait gap. So that was great seeing their DNA tour. I think from memory I saw both dates. Yeah, I decided to splash out and I saw both shows, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember I had two different perspectives of their stage presence. One seat I think I was lower down and another seat I was higher up towards the side. So yeah, they were great. Richard Marx also returned to our shores. And yeah, this is the one I touched on a previous video, I think the Ticketmaster one, where I added on a Q&A ticket where you could ask, or you have a chance to ask Richard Marx a question. And yeah, I partook in that, so that was great. And yeah, his show was great as always. The Proclaimers, I also touched on this, I'm pretty sure, during the either Ticketmaster or Ticketek videos, past videos, so I put those in the comments as well. Links if you want to go back and see that. So yeah, it was great. I saw them for the very first time, and yeah, they were great. The crowd was really ecstatic and getting right into all their music. Ruel is an up-and-coming Australian artist. I believe he's from Perth. He was born in Perth, if I got that right. And I saw him for the first time for his Fourth Wall World Tour at Margaret Court Arena, and yeah, that was great. And I enjoyed seeing Culture Club at the Rod Laver Arena. The support act was, I think there was one more than one support act, but I enjoyed Danny Minogue's performance. That was the first time I saw Danny Minogue live. And I saw Pseudo Echo, an Australian band, at the venue called 170 Russell on their tour. I think it was the first time from memory that I saw them as a headline act. I may have seen them once or twice before as a support act for different headline artists, but this was their very own, as they were the headlines, and I don't believe there was a support act that night, from memory. I saw Tina Arena during 2023. The first time I saw her play at the first time I've been at the venue which she played at, which was Melbourne Town Hall. Definitely one of the crowning highlights for 2023 was seeing Charlie Puth for the very first time live. I think it might have been his first time coming to Melbourne too, as far as I can recall. He did a loving tribute, poignant tribute to, oh my gosh, I'm going blank on his name, on the Friends star that passed away. Matthew Perry. Admittedly, I had to Google that to remind myself. The late, great Matthew Perry played Chandler Bing in Friends. I wasn't an avid viewer of that show, but the three characters I liked when I did bother to watch it, or felt like watching it, I felt to me the three most flawed characters was, Matthew Perry's character, Courtney Cox's character, and the character of Phoebe. So, yeah, they were the... Phoebe? Yeah. Yeah, those were the three that of the 6 primary cast, they were the 3 of my favourites of the 6. The Cause performance was memorable, but actually not primarily for them, ironically, being the headline act. I mean, their music was pleasant enough. I'm not a super fan of theirs, but I was more interested to see Tony Childs. I hadn't seen her live before until that night. And also from memory, I don't think I've seen Natalie Imbruglia live before either, Australian singer. Um, of those three acts, I'm most familiar with Tony Childs' discography, so that was great. Despite her just being, or not just being, Tony Childs being one of the support acts, it was great to see her live. Yeah, that year. 2023 also saw the return of Belinda Carlisle. I'm always happy to see her every time she comes back to Melbourne. This time, the reason for her latest postponement wasn't because of the pandemic, but because of, as you can see here, she had an injury. So I think it was her knee or her foot that she had. The doctor said she needed to obviously stay off her feet, literally. So she postponed this concert to 2023 until she was able to stand up on stage again. Okay, and to round off 2023, it was a bittersweet experience for Robbie Williams. Why is that? Well, the positives were that I chose to see him twice, along with my close friend, my closest friend in Melbourne. We went to see him initially at Double AMI Park, Amy Park, and then subsequently at what is called A Day at the Green. So it's a venue that's attached to a winery or is near a winery area, like a vineyard, and there's a space where there's an outdoor area, and yeah, you can set up picnic rugs and things like that. There are seats set up by the by the management of the concert, but yeah, it's very much that kind of has a sort of picnic, family orientated affair. Unfortunately, the weather was very inclement on the Day to Green session. It rained, and there was a chance that the concert was going to be postponed or cancelled, just for the safety of everyone and for the safety of Robbie and his band on stage. But it still went ahead despite the rain. And sadly, that was the last time I saw my closest friend's mother. She passed away since that concert, but it was the very first time that my close friend's mother attended a concert with us. I can only assume her mother went, like her mother and her and daughter went to concerts together, but this was my first experience where I went to a concert with my close friend, and her mother came along because she also liked Robbie Williams' music, and but didn't want to. Was when we saw Robbie at Amy Park, we were standing, general admission, and yeah, the age that my friend's mother was, she wasn't capable of standing for long periods, so she chose to come with us at A Day to Green because there were seats there waiting for us. So, or did we have to set up our own seats? I think we set up our own seats actually. The section we were located at, you're allowed to bring, low seat. When I say low, you can't sit in a high chair like a surf lifesaver because that will block other people behind you. But those folded up chairs that you can bring to picnics and things. So we sat on those chairs. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, but as always, Robbie is a consistent entertainer, and it's always a joy to see him. And I hope he comes again to Melbourne soon. So thank you, everyone. That rounds off 2023. See you in the last two videos for 2024 and 2025 wrap up of my concert archives.